There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube on how to play rhythm guitar like Jimi Hendrix, and if you're looking to get those licks exactly down, they're definitely worth tracking down. I recommend Brett Pop is a great starting point if you want to learn these licks. But what I'm here today to do is teach you how you can incorporate these ideas into just about any chord progression or song. You can Hendrixify any song that you hear on the radio. Check these examples out.
Old friend, why are you so shy? Ain't like you to hold back or hide from the light. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away. I couldn't fight it. I had hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over.
Now that might sound a little complicated, but it's really not at all. It's quite simple. You just need to know 4 different chord shapes, a couple licks inside each of those, and you need to know how to chain them all together to give you that Hendrix sound that you know from Little Wing, Wind Cries Mary, Angel, Bold as Love, all those great hits. First up, you need to know these 4 shapes. Lucky for us, we probably already know these chord shapes. First one is E-shaped major bar chords. Second, we have E-shaped minor bar chords, A-shaped major bar chords, and A-shaped minor bar chords. So if you know all the notes on the E and A string, you can play any major or minor chord with these 4 shapes. Actually, you can play them in 2 different places. So the first step to playing in this style is visualizing any chord that's within the song as one of these shapes. So if the song calls for an A major, you can either play it on the 5th fret E string in the E-shaped A chord, like this, or you can play it as an A-shaped bar chord up here on the 12th fret, or the open shape as well. The same concept goes for both of the minor chord shapes. Now for the licks. The whole idea here is combining double stops, which just means 2 notes played simultaneously, as opposed to 3 or more, which makes up a chord. So playing those double stops and combining them with hammer-ons and pull-offs, that really gives you that Hendrix sound. So working within any given scale shape, we'll use the first position minor pentatonic scale that we're all used to just for simplicity's sake. Grab any 2 notes that are on adjacent strings on the lower half of the scale. Now experiment with using hammer-ons and pull-offs to throw in notes that are on the higher end of the scale shape up here. Here's some examples of that. You can apply this same idea to every scale that we play today. When playing out of E-shaped major chords like this A major, focus on the 1st and 2nd position major scales to get all of your licks from. And remember, once again, we're going to be grabbing these double stops from the lower half of the scale and throwing in the hammer-on and pull-offs on the upper end of the scale with either your ring or pinky finger to get all these licks down. Here's some examples of licks in those 2 positions over an A major chord. To get from that chord up into the 2nd position major scale, Jimmy likes to use slides on the bass notes, the lower notes of the chord, to get up to that 2nd position. Now moving on to A-shaped major chords, you want to find all of your licks in the 6th position major scale. Here are some examples in A major. Now we'll play that same riff again up on the 12th fret. For E-shaped minor chords, we want to be focusing on getting our licks from the 1st and 2nd position minor pentatonic scales. You're probably more familiar with these, and there's a bunch of licks in here that Jimmy uses. Let's have a look at some examples that I came up with in B minor. And for your A-shaped minor chords, look to your 4th position minor pentatonic scale for your licks. Here are some I came up with for B minor. So once you have a couple favorite licks in each of these 4 positions, it's time to start chaining them together to get smooth transitions between chord changes. And this is where a lot of the magic happens. The easiest way to do this is to land on the root note of the chord that's being changed to. Another way of doing this is to grab a partial chord, a triad, or a double stop of the chord that's being changed to. And this is usually enough information for the listener to know that a chord change has happened. Let's use a 2-chord backing track between A major and B minor to illustrate this. And I'll pause along the way and point out when I'm landing on a root note or when I'm targeting a partial chord like a triad to guide your ear into that chord change. So here I land on a little triad out of the B minor pentatonic shape. And here I'm using my thumb to grab the root note of the A. Now I'm targeting the root note of the B minor, the B on the 9th fret, but I'm using a little double stop with a hammer on to get there. So this is a really cool way to land on an A-shaped minor chord like you see on the screen right now. So I'm barring across the 2nd fret with my index finger and then simultaneously hammering on the 4th fret G string and the 3rd fret B string with my ring and middle finger to land on the root note on the G string and the minor 3rd on the B string. And this is giving you all the information you know to know that this is a B minor chord. All right, hopefully you're seeing how this is all coming together now. Practicing over a 2-chord song is a great way of seeing all the different possibilities that there are of playing the changes. Things get a little more spicy and interesting when you're playing 3, 4, and 5-chord songs, but it just takes a little bit of forethought. You just have to be thinking one step ahead of the chord change and visualizing where that next bar chord is that you need to target. Hopefully that all made some sense to you and you can start incorporating these ideas into your own playing. Just remember, you do not have to play this style over every single chord or every single chord change in a song. A little goes a long way. I'm just doing that in this video to demonstrate the technique. Maybe throw it in on 1 or 2 chords in a song and you'll really bend some ears. But that is all the time I've got for you this week. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video here. I'll be back next week with another one, and until then.